Mephala is the Daedric Prince of lies, sex, secrets, murder, and plots. She enjoys seducing people and interfering in the affairs of mortals for entertainment. She even has her own realm, which is downright sadistic and filled with some of the creepiest rooms you could possibly think of. Mephala even has other names she is known by, like Web Spinner and Spider. She's clearly mysterious, but it's no mystery that Mephala is one of the most fascinating Daedric princes to ever grace the Elder Scrolls universe. Here are 5 facts about the Daedric Prince Mephala. As mentioned, Mephala has her own realm of Oblivion. Just like how Hermaeus Mora has Apocrypha and Mehrunes Dagon has his Deadlands, Mephala has the Spiral Skein. Also known as Mephala's Web, the Spiral Skein is not a place you'd want to go. Luckily for you, it's actually not supposed to be accessible to mortals, although it's actually set to end up as a DLC for the Elder Scrolls Online, so stay tuned for that. The Spiral Skein is said to be shaped like a wheel-shaped web which has a big tower called the Pillar Palace of Mephala in the center. Apparently the real name of this tower is too awful to be uttered, but what we do know is that just like a spider with 8 legs, this tower has 8 spokes that travel between it and the outer edge of the web. These are known as the 8 strands of Skein, and each one is based on a specific sin. For example, the first strand is in a cavern which revolves entirely around deceit and lies. Inside you can find pedestals which appear to be holding up the sky, but this is obviously not the reality of the situation. We know that the second spoke is literally made up of a bunch of cramped chambers which represent envy, but this one and the first one aren't too worrying compared to some of the rest. For example, strand number 3 contains maggot-ridden grottos, and just so you can see these writhing creatures, it's also filled with glowing lights. This is meant to represent seduction, and I don't know about you guys, but it's the opposite effect on me. The 4th spoke symbolizes dread and fear. It involves terror through the use of eternally dark tunnels. Strand number 5 is simply known to be an area with halls that are filled with betrayal and have no rules. Then we have Arena of Murder for number 6, and then strand number 7 is there to represent mortal appetite, aka greed. It contains everything mortals will either die for or kill for, so it's probably an exciting place to visit, so long as no one is there to fight you for what lies within. Finally, strand number 8, the Flaming Skein of Fury. This symbolizes the death that all mortals eventually face and is said to be where all treasure lies. Fact number 2, some people in the Elder Scrolls universe believe that the Night Mother is actually an aspect of Mephala or Mephala herself. In the book Fire and Darkness from Oblivion, we can find this written. The Night Mother, my dear friend, is Mephala. The Dark Brotherhood of the West, unfettered by the orders of the Tribunal, continue to worship Mephala. They may not call her by name, but the Daedra of murder, sex, and secrets is their leader still, and they did not, and still do not, to this day, forgive their brethren for casting her aside. The topic of the Night Mother is very cloudy, and her true identity in the lore is all over the place. People have speculated all kinds of things about her, and the theories are super long, so here's the summary of one of the more popular ones. Mephala is worshipped by the Morag Tong. However, it is thought that they became too political, and then for religious reasons, their rival group, the Dark Brotherhood, was established. The Morag Tong killed an emperor at the end of the First Era, likely at the command of his successor, which they then assassinated in the Second Era, which led them to being outlawed and caused them to turn to the Tribunal. They were forced to start worshipping Vivec instead of Mephala, although they still did worship her in secret. This is where the break would have occurred. The Dark Brotherhood would have gone off and began their own Assassin's Guild, worshipping Mephala properly, and this could have evolved into worship of the Night Mother, perhaps through lies and manipulation, or the original Dark Brotherhood founders could have known the Night Mother was Mephala, but this secret died with them, as was Mephala's will. That part is all theoretical, but the Dark Brotherhood and the Morag Tong did become sworn rivals, and this makes even more sense considering that Mephala loves to pit mortals against each other, as seen in her quest in Oblivion. In Oblivion, you can also encounter the Night Mother in a spectral form, and according to the theories, this could be Mephala conducting herself through this aspect. It's easily plausible that Mephala is manifesting herself as the Night Mother in secret, and guiding the Dark Brotherhood as one of her specialties as a Daedric Prince of Lies. We can explore this more in detail in a future video, so let us know in the comments if you'd like to see that. Fact number 3, the Morag Tong are an assassin's guild that murder in the name of Mephala. I've explained what happened to them in the previous fact, but now I want to give you a little more detailed insight into what the guild really is. The Morag Tong is unique in the fact that it is the only legally sanctioned organization for assassins. They are allowed to print legal bills called writs of execution, which excuse assassins for their murder and other illegal activity directly associated with it, such as trespassing. Morag Tong assassins are actually expected to present these writs to the guards straight after after the murder in order to avoid complications and absolve them of any criminal record. You could imagine this would be quite the buzzkill, scaling a wall and carefully sneaking your way over to the edge of a rooftop to shoot off a perfectly fired arrow, only to hop down and reveal yourself to the guards and present them a piece of paper. This guild is founded by Mephala, and it is said that she organized the clan systems that eventually became the Great Houses. She founded the Morag Tong after this. The Morag Tong would then perform executions to resolve inter-house conflicts without large-scale bloodshed, preserving Mephala's legacy. They also have been known to take certain bounties similar to Fighters Guild contracts. Fact number 4, Mephala has her own Daedric servants, simply known as the Spider Daedra. You would have seen these beasts in Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion. They're massive spider humanoid centaurs and have naked upper head, torso and arms, all of human size, but this sadly sits upon the abdomen of a giant spider, which also has 8 long and very creepy legs. Obviously, in the actual game, the body of the human isn't naked, but it is supposed to be. While one could learn to summon a Spider Daedra in Oblivion, many sorcerers still fear doing it, as these servants of Mephala are known to be highly irrational and aggressive, so much so that they often aren't trusted to heed the commands of their master. I live in Australia and the spiders here are pretty nuts, but they've got absolutely nothing on these monstrosities. Fact number 5. Mephala has a very cool artifact known as the Ebony Blade, which has been given to the player many times throughout the Elder Scrolls games as a reward for helping the Daedric Prince. The blade has many names to those who know of it. Some call it the Vampire, others call it the Leech, but regardless of what this weapon is titled, its very dark power is a force to fear. Aesthetically speaking, the Ebony Blade is like an ebony katana, however, unlike a normal sword of high quality metal, this one has a very particular sting. The damage which it inflicts to the victim actually flows back into the wielder of this dangerous weapon as pure, raw power. This is brought to life through the Absorb Health enchantment used in Skyrim, which sustains the user, allowing them to cause never-ending bloodshed. While the weapon itself isn't inherently infatuating through some kind of magical force, the ability to dominate that it brings its typically evil user is enough to drive anyone to commit reprehensible acts. In fact, the artifact isn't just infused with iniquity, it has also been altered by a wizard who placed a charm on it. This was done to save the souls of those who became too addicted to the weapon, and what it does is to ensure the weapon cannot remain with one user for too long. This was probably a good idea, and luckily for us, it won't cause us to magically lose the weapon in our personal playthrough. Subscribe to FudgeMuppet for more sensational Skyrim content just like this, and share this video on your social media pages if you truly want to support this channel. We're super grateful for all those who just watched the video this far through, and if you could leave a like and a comment with feedback below, you will truly make our day. Social media links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll nerd out with you again in the next video.